Phil.
Guys, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you for joining us, Phil. How's life, pal? How's everything going over there?
Things are great, and I really enjoy your show. I enjoy what you're doing and how you are kind of changing the game and bringing a different level of energy and a different way of presenting things. And it's been fun and interesting to watch. And I think that there's a lot of synergies and parallels to what's been going on in the world of golf as well, and similar to what you've been going through.
Well, they're going to clip that and obviously cook me for it because of everything. But I want to let you know, Phil, I appreciate you, Phil, because we appreciate the hell out of you. We love you, Phil. And let's go into it now, because there's a situation kind of brewing here with Rory McIlroy, which if we go back a couple years, you going to his defense and him basically talking good about you guys would not be the case. We all knew that he was one of the faces of the PGA, was very anti the potential changes that are coming. And now Rory's statements are like, wow, I'm kind of seeing the picture of everything. Rory came out and basically said that what LIV has done is expose flaws that have happened in golf, which I think all of us were saying that were excited about the changes that were taking place at the very beginning. You were certainly saying that at the very beginning, and now he's kind of come around, and then people started attacking him and assuming that you wanted to attack him for saying this because it's like, Phil was right, you were wrong. You came out and were like, whoa, hey, listen, this is probably taking a lot of effort to get to this point for Rory McIlroy. We should celebrate this and move forward. Now, with that being said, are you proud of the fact that here we are a couple years later, LIV isn't completely gone, seems to be growing and making the game better? This is kind of the vision of it all, and how do you see it over the last few years, Phil?
So with change, there's going to be disruption, and we're through most of the disruption. But when you look at big picture, and most people aren't going to care, but this is my life's work. Like, I love golf. I've been playing my whole life and cared and dreamt about as a kid playing professional golf. And so this is my passion, what I love the most. And so I care about where the game is going and so forth. And it's been concerning the last many years of the age of our viewer increasing steadily from 55 to 60 to now 65 out on tour. And the PGA Tour, when I was there, was trying to do everything we could to attract and appeal to a younger crowd. And we haven't been able to do that. And so now we're finding a way to do that. And LIV is starting to bring in a younger audience by presenting the game of golf in a different way. And so there are other aspects of about golf that are difficult that we're trying to solve. Give you a couple of examples. One, the golf fan is the most loyal fan in all of sports. And here's why. When you buy a ticket to an NFL game or a basketball game, baseball game, you buy a seat, you sit down in your seat, you get to see 100% of the action. But in golf, you buy a ticket, you walk for miles, and you see a fraction of the game. And so when you wanted to come out and watch Tiger play and you wanted to watch myself play, we were always on opposite end of the spectrum. So you've got to get there at 8 a.m. and watch early, and then you've got to be there till 6 p.m. if you want to watch myself play. We're trying to change that and present it in a different way so that with the shotgun start, you can come out and you watch all the top players play in a short 4.5 hour time period. That's one little thing. The other thing is, when you are a player in the NFL or baseball or so forth, you're an employee of that team, and that team controls your schedule. And when we go play as a fan, you know who you're going to watch to play. And so in golf, you see every week people are committing to the tournament so that fans have an idea of who might be there rather than knowing who's going to be there. And so that model is starting to change. And if you're a sponsor and you're investing into the game of golf or into an event, you want to know who's going to be there. That's the attraction. That's the product that you're trying to bring. And so you want to know what it is you're buying. And all of these things LIV is trying to change. And this allows us to bring golf, which is already a global sport, to different parts of the world, just like NFL is trying to bring football to London and other parts. And by controlling their schedule, they're able to do that because you have the Jacksonville Jaguars play the Buffalo Bills in London, and you know who's going to play. And golf, we haven't had that ability to do that, which is why our attempt to bring World Golf Championships throughout the world have been unsuccessful globally, but okay in the US. And so if I'm a fan, I want to see the best players play against each other. And as a top player throughout my career, I want to play against the best players more often. And our schedules would never match up outside of the majors. They were, I would play what was good for me, and it was never really directed. Now LIV is creating 14 events where you know who's going to play and who's going to be there. And the tour is starting to do that as well now with elevated events, which is great. Like if you're a fan of the PGA Tour, you know that these top guys from the tour are going to play there. And I think in the big picture, when all of this disruption and change irons out and settles through, we're going to have a product that's going to be better for the fans because you'll know who's going to be there, and you'll have a product that's easier to buy if you're a sponsor because you know who's going to be there. And we'll be able to move this product throughout the world and capitalize on markets that we've never been able to touch before, and hopefully grow the market for all of golf, whether you're a manufacturer, clothing, or an investor or a sponsor who wants to use golf to bring clients together in different countries. You'll be able to do that because you'll have the best players playing there.
On that note, I think that's what I liked about you guys being on YouTube at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have benefited from YouTube being a global, our audience, literally Australia, Japan, here,
Right.
like YouTube has that reach. And then when you move to CW, I think at the beginning, now CW has a lot more sports. CW is investing in sports. You guys were one of the first ones. I think for a lot of people, it was kind of hard to find at first. Are you guys worried about the potential? Is it if you build it, they will come? Or are you guys keeping an eye on ratings and attendance and everything at this stage? Or are you guys super patient with that entire thing?
So it was a great start for us just to have a network to get on, and CW has invested a lot in our product and live sports. And so we were kind of the start. And as a startup, which is what LIV is, you have to start somewhere. And so it was a good starting point in the end. We also had a lot of challenges that we had to overcome with pressure from outside sources, from other networks to not get involved with us. But as we start working together as a whole, if we start putting the entity of professional golf at the forefront, then we're able to create more partnerships rather than combative relationships. And I think that's kind of where we're headed, which is ultimately where I'm going with this, is a better TV product for LIV and more corporate involvement from LIV going forward.
Darius has a question for you, Phil.
Yeah, Phil, I was lucky enough to get a chance to watch you and DJ actually down in Doral this past off season. What was your favorite venue that you played at last year?
So Doral was spectacular, and I think it's an exceptional golf course. And we're going to be starting the year at Mayakoba in Mexico the first week of February, which is the week off of the NFL. So hopefully you guys will check it out. I love that Mayakoba course. And then we have an old historical site that we're going to be playing in Las Vegas Country Club the following week, the week of the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. It's a course I played 30 years ago when I first came out on tour in the Las Vegas Classic. So I get to return there in a LIV debut, if you will. And by bringing golf the week of the Super Bowl to the Super Bowl site and having it finish the day before the Super Bowl, we're hopeful to introduce the game and get some excitement for the game from people that we might not be able to cross over and attract without the use of football in this case.
Do they test for marijuana over there at LIV?
They do drug testing. Yeah. I don't know if that's one of the drugs they test for, but they do drug testing on us.
If I get good.
Why do you ask that?
Well, I smoke copious amounts of marijuana whenever when I'm in legal states. Obviously, we never do that in Indiana, where we call home. But anytime we get to travel for anything, obviously I do.
Nevada.
And I play bingo for the Super Bowl, obviously. Yep. But I will probably continue to do that for a majority of my life. I don't think it's right for everybody, but for me, it has certainly made my brain, life, happiness, everything better. But I'm working at golf, Phil. Phil, I'm up there. Listen, Phil, I'm up in this golf simulator. I'm on the back. We got a simulator up there right behind where What Wednesday says right there. That's a golf simulator. I'm up there working. I'm on this 2 courses. We have 2 holes out here in the back. I'm trying to get good at golf. I just didn't know if I get good enough, because you can golf till you're 70.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You can golf till you're 70. You could be great at golf till you're 70. I didn't know if LIV was going to be a potential opportunity. Now, speaking of LIV being a potential opportunity, at the beginning, all anybody said was they just want to take down a PGA. They have enough money just to take down a PGA. They don't want to be a sustainable business. And while you were giving off your answer about being able to travel this way, you talked about clothing manufacturers and brands and everything like that, running it as a business, which is what you would assume everybody is going to attempt to do, especially if they're investing money. With the Rahm edition, and we assume there's going to be more Like, there's been a lot of money invested in this. Is there a thought that this will inevitably become like profitable and sustainable? Or is it just like we actually have a never-ending supply of money? Like, that's an actual weapon that you guys certainly have in this entire thing. Is there a thought about that? Will that disrupt things? Is the future very strong, even if it doesn't become profitable until maybe 10 decade or so?
That's let me explain a little bit more of the business model, because
Please.
when we have the ability to control the product, meaning LIV knows what they are selling and you know what you're buying as a sponsor, we are now integrating golf on a global scale, and we're going to different countries and utilizing tourism budgets to get us there. So the reason we're going to Hong Kong is they are paying an exorbitant amount of money to bring professional golf at the highest level there. And they're using the tourism budget to do that. We were not supposed to go back to Singapore this year, and then the tourism board at Singapore gets involved. And I'm talking tens of millions, not just a million or two. So when we started out at LIV, we had to pay for sites because it was controversial and there were threats against us not to be involved with us and so forth. But now these countries are using tourism dollars to get us to go there because of the impact we're having on their economy. And so it's as much to cover the entire purse. So to not see this opportunity is short-sighted. This is an area of monetary opportunity that we've never had in golf, because we've never controlled the product and be able to sell something tangible. There's too much uncertainty. So will it be profitable? I think it's going to be profitable a lot sooner than you think, especially as we start working together, all professional golf, and we stop having these kind of threats and trying to suppress our product and our TV opportunities and our sponsors. When we start working together as we are starting to, and I think Joh Rahm signing is really being used as a bridge to bring these sides together, realizing that LIV isn't going away, that this is going to be a staple, and that if we compete, we're going to be competing against each other for television dollars and sponsorship dollars and so forth, rather than working together and create the best product for the fans and as well as sponsors and the best opportunities for the players. So we're starting to work together. Joh Rahm's been a huge impetus in this, and this is going to open up markets, just like I mentioned, tourism dollars, not to mention global companies that are outside the U.S. that are very large, that want to get involved and use golf as a way to bring in clients together and promote their brand. So there's incredible opportunities. It will be profitable very quickly, and building equity in a brand and bringing a team aspect, although it's difficult to see right now because golf has been an individual sport for hundreds of years, or not hundreds, but many, many years, at least 100 plus.
Thousands.
It's hard to see this transition and this change and the benefits of this. But in the big picture, again, what I also see is like a team, let's say, is an opportunity to help young players that don't have access to the same type of support system that's necessary to be successful. And by that, I mean this: there's a lot of great young players that don't have access to the proper physical training or the proper instruction or the proper facilities needed to be their best. And as a team owner, let's say with High Flyers, years down the road, 5-10 years, I'll have a High Flyers golf course facility that I'll have world-class fitness training, world-class physical therapy, world-class instruction. And I will be able to bring in many young players and give them access to this training. And what will I benefit from it as an owner of the team? I'll have first right of refusal. So when they go out and they become a great player and they're winning majors and winning tournaments, I'll have the first right of refusal to sign him to my team. But I'll be able to bring dozens of young players in and
academy. This is the European academy model. Bring them in, provide everything for them to become the best that they possibly can in the sport. That's huge. I had not heard that about the LIV Golf. Is that far away from now?
It's all part of the big picture. It's all part of the plan. Like I say, it's evolving, and so we want to create opportunities for young players to get involved in this. And as we start building this team aspect, each team will be able to provide those opportunities and benefit from them, hopefully long term, by again having the first right of refusal to maintain these players.
That's a really good idea. I had not heard that. And you're not a lawyer, and obviously we're not expecting you to know everything that's happening, but you're one of the founders, seemingly, of LIV, and the way you've just described the business side of it feels like you have a great handle of everything happening over there. I was told LIV and PGA were together, right? Remember old buddy? What was old buddy that went on a vacation for 2 weeks immediately after?
Jay Monahan.
Jay Monahan. He, remember, he was meeting in restaurants in Italy, I think, or Milan or something, and then out of nowhere, boom, and then it was like blindsided almost everybody. And then as it continued to go on, it's not. What is that still ongoing? What's happening there? Because you said Joh Rahm is a great bridge to bring both sides together. We're hearing Rory speak positively. It feels like there'd be a lot more agreements from the members of the PGA to kind of combine forces now, more so than a year back or whatever. Is that still ongoing? What do we not understand about that process there?
So I don't have a lot of answers for you on where they are in the merger. I'm not involved in those discussions per se. I just know the vision of what Yasser has for the game of golf and is working hard to bring that vision together and to bring professional golf and present it differently to the public to help grow the game and to help grow it on a global scale and grow the interest to younger players and try to attract the demographic that we have not been able to attract so far. But with Joh Rahm signing on, what it's done is create a bridge and an opportunity for us to come together, because the realization is LIV isn't going away. Like, that's what the talk is. Like, it's ridiculous. And so now people are realizing, okay, it's not going away. And we want to work together. And if we're the majors and we want to have the best field and keep on the tradition of these great events, we're going to have the best players in the world, and we're going to have to create a qualifying system for these players to get there. And if you're the PGA Tour and you realize that your most important asset is the quality of field and the players, and you are going to keep losing players if you don't work together, this is a bridge that now is opening those conversations to start working together. And I thought that it was a very big move on Rory's part to say a couple of things that he said. One was that we don't want to go forward in the Ryder Cup without Joh Rahm. Like, that's a big step. It's a total turn from these guys made their bed and lie with it. It's a coming together. Like, he opened the door for us to start working together, I feel, as well as the recent comments about how there's a place in golf for LIV and for team events and so forth. And the way, look, there's always going to be a need for traditional golf, and there's always a desire for it. Like, these tournaments have been around for a long, long time, have a great history, a great reverence, but that's also led to an increasing age demographic in our fan base. And we've got to be able to also attract the younger players. And there's a place for LIV as well. And there's a place for a fun, edgier, louder presentation in golf. And that's what we're trying to do. And they both should be working together for the greater good. And I think that that's where we're headed. And Joh Rahm's signing is that bridge, because it's the realization that we need to work together going forward for the long-term success of the game.
We love Rombo Bombo.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love him. I assume everybody on both tours does as well. Connor has a question about that.
Yeah, Phil, because Rahm has joined, do you feel as though, or actually, have you actually kind of got more people reaching out to you? Like, okay, now that Rahm's there, maybe this is something I consider. Like, our golfers now, because of Rahm, probably going to cross that bridge if they were thinking about it in the past. And then also, is John's getting his own team? Is he going to have the whole facility like yourself? And is that something that was talked about with John? And do you know what maybe his team would be? Is there any sneak peek we can have perhaps?
So I don't want to speak for John on his behalf, but I know that all teams, big picture, are trying to have that type of model where we have these facilities that can support our own teams the best way and provide opportunities for great young players who need that type of support system in a financial model that sustains it, rather than just taking donations and creating a institute of sport that continues to drain funds each year. There'll be a model here where these golf courses will sell memberships, and those members will have access to those facilities as well. And it will be a profitable venture that we can sustain and continue to bring more young players in. As far as John's team, I know that they are talking to a couple of players, but I don't want, I mean, that's their thing. I'd rather let them discuss that. I know that I've had a lot of calls from players that realize that what they have been being told now for the last year and a half isn't really accurate, and it has opened their eyes to this is another option that if I'm available or presented with the opportunity to play, it's not going away. I'm not going to be undermining my career. I'm going to be creating a different opportunity. So there aren't a lot of spots. And so LIV is being very selective on who they bring in because they want to create value for the product and continue to strengthen it. So some of the players that have called me, there hasn't been an opportunity for them to come, but that will continue to change over time as we end up adding a few teams, creating a few more players, and becoming a stronger product.
We think about some of the guys that were allegedly offered $200 million and then they turned down or whatever, and then now, there's not enough spots left. It's a wild for all of them. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Phil, 2025, when the Ryder Cup comes back to America at Bethpage, if you are not playing, do you have any interest in being the Ryder Cup captain at that time, or could you just be a player coach as well?
I've had 12, 13 opportunities to be a part of the Ryder Cup, 12 as a player, 1 as a vice captain, and I've loved every minute of it and cherished those moments and those life experiences. I don't feel I'm the right guy to be involved with the team because I'm a very divisive character right now, if you will, and I understand that the players on the PGA Tour, there's a lot of hostilities towards me, and I don't feel I'd be the best leader for them going forward. I think that as a Ryder Cup captain, you have to be kind of a unifier and have these relationships solidified, and somebody that you want to follow. And right now, I've been very divisive, and I'm okay with that. I knew that was going to be the case. I knew the next couple of years that it was going to take a couple of years, and that I was going to take a lot of hits and a lot of divisiveness. But I believe that it is in the best interest of the game of golf to present it a different way to a younger crowd and to try to stop a problem that is coming up quickly, which is the age demographic of our fans. I also believe that it's going to be a better thing for the professional itself to some of the things behind the scenes that I don't need to get into, the details of the pay structure and the rights of the players and so forth. I think those are going to be solved and going forward. And this is a product that brings a different element with team and so forth that I really believe in. And so I knew I was going to take some hits going forward. I'm okay with that. And as a divisive individual, I don't think I'm the best unifier going forward for the Ryder Cup. And that's fine because I've had so many great memories with it. It's time for other people to be able to create their own memories, opportunities, and life experiences that the Ryder Cup provides.
Yeah, I think the Ryder Cup, obviously, for the fans is huge, which leads to this from Ty.
Yeah, Phil, just curious. Like when you look, you've obviously got your feet wet now with a bunch of these LIV events. When you look at it and like you talk to the other players out there, you mentioned the shotgun start earlier, and then also like the 54-hole format, the team format, all that kind of stuff. Is everyone pretty happy with how things are going, or like are there any other maybe changes that you guys would like to pull from like a PGA tournament format to kind of just continue to evolve what LIV is? Like where does everyone kind of stand on the actual tournaments themselves right now?
Have you seen a single LIV player not smiling? I mean, we are smiling all the time. The energy output each week is so much different, and all of the things that have been frustrating in a player experience has been improved exponentially on LIV. But it's in fairness, we only have 48 players relative to 156, and it's much harder to accommodate 3 times as many players who have 3 times, triple the families, triple the coaches, triple the fitness instruction, the physical therapy, all this. So it's much easier to accommodate and target and make the experience for these 48 players who are playing much better. So in fairness, like it's been a lot easier to fix those things, and that's why we're all enjoying it and why we're smiling so much. Is that all of the details that have been frustrating from a player standpoint, which nobody cares about, and shouldn't. But the things that we've been going through, they have been able to be fixed. What tournaments are we playing? When are we playing? What is our schedule? When's our flight? Is it Friday night? Is it Sunday night? Where am I heading from there? All of these details that have led to challenges for scheduling and family functions and birthday parties and all the little things that just are part of life.
Yeah, being a human.
Yes, yeah. It just has made the experience for the player incredibly better. But that's not something that's going to translate, let's say, to the fan experience or the things that matter when we are professional golfers trying to present a product and are in the entertainment industry. But from a player's perspective, behind the scenes, it's incredible.
Couple brainstorming things here, and I appreciate you talking about being a human, because I think that's what that full swing thing displayed the most about how you guys, the PGA Tour, and it was amazing. was amazing to me to find out that they're independent contractors, not guaranteed a single thing, but you have to play for our tour, but we're not going to guarantee you anything, but you got to guarantee us that. I think we learned about that through the LIV, and like guys losing money each week for traveling. If they didn't make the cut, they had a couple bad days, but they were being shown for 12 hours a day while they were golfing. It was like I don't want to say immorality, but seemingly bad business that was kind of taking place. And then we watch that full swing, and these guys you got a Pro-Am on Wednesday, you got practice on Tuesday, but you got to be in that city for the Pro-Am, then Thursday, Friday, hope you make the cut, Saturday, hope you get Sunday. Well, then you got Monday off, good for you. Then you got practice somewhere, then you got Pro-Am in the next city. It's like, it was a never-ending. That was wild to kind of watch behind the scenes and learn about. So thanks for committing your whole life for us to watch.